Hello Figgy Fiends and Collectors, this is me, Daniel East 1000, here with something a little bit different. Today we're going to be counting down my personal top 15 picks for prequel characters that need to be made in the Star Wars The Black Series line of figures. This is of course my list, and your list would possibly differ, so be sure to leave your disputes in the comments below, or if you really feel like it, as a video response. I'd love to hear your thoughts. For this list though, we'll be focused on purely characters that appear in the prequel Star Wars films. None of the expanded universe, none of the Clone Wars, just purely the prequel films themselves, none of the in-betweens. Because really, that's a whole video unto itself. And I mean, if I'm gonna milk this thing, I'm going to milk it, obviously. Not going to lie. With this being said, it's fair to say that the prequels have had probably the least amount of love in the Black Series line compared to all the other main saga films in terms of figure releases. It's only until really recently that Hasbro stuck its finger out its backside and got on with making some. So, without further ado, here are my suggestions. At number 15, Dexter Jetster.
Someone to see you, honey. Jedi by the looks of him.
Obi-Wan. Well, what do you know? The owner and cook of Dex's Diner, who has a suspicious knowledge of nefarious objects in the galaxy. I know this is somewhat a mundane choice, and that explains really why he's so low on this list, but he is really just an average Joe character, and I for one would personally like to see him in the collection. Hasbro have done multi-armed characters before, and it would be cool to see a big, this would be a big figure in the Black Series collection. Naturally, this would be a deluxe figure, and I would imagine to be more geared as an exclusive. While he is somewhat memeable and, like I said, a bit of an average Joe kind of character, that really sort of justifies why I've put him so low on this list. Because there are plenty of prequel characters that should be tackled first before doing him. Number 14, Sebulba. The Vicious Doug from Malastare, who has a really interesting character design that I would love to see Hasbro tackle. It would certainly make for a striking figure on anyone's shelf. Not only that, but Sebulba would make for a perfect starting point to introduce pod racing characters into the line. Can't really think of any accessories they could include with him. Due to his somewhat diminutive size, there could be the possibility they could pack in, a little bit cheeky of me to say this, a pod racing pit droid, although I imagine that would depend on how in-depth and detailed they'd want to make a figure like Sebulba. If not, the figure could potentially be included in a big pod racer vehicle. That would be cool to see. Number 13, Commander Bakara. A nice amount of clones have been made in the line. However, of course, there are still a ton more they could do, it's safe to say. I mean, clones could warrant a list of their own. To be perfectly honest, I am not the biggest clone nut. I know. I'm sorry, it's a shock to some of you, I'm sure. Not that I dislike them, I prefer my more unique, alien, weird costume and character designs. I'll take a clone by all means, but I'm more impartial to picking up weird and wonderful alien characters. With that in mind, it's no real surprise to me to say this, and I may get some people clicking off this now that I've said it. This is the only clone I'm going to include in this list. Because let's be honest, they're an easy thing. It's an easy go-to thing for Hasbro to do. But with this being said, however, I did feel like I needed to kind of include a clone in this list, and Commander Bakara was one that really stood out for me because, to be honest, his armour and his colour scheme is incredibly unique compared to other clone designs, and I felt that really did actually warrant being on my list. At number 12, Yarl Poof. A gangly neck Jedi that really was just a background character, but was parodied so beautifully well in Adult Swim's Robot Chicken. Granted, he is one of many background Jedi characters from that scene that could be done. However, for me, Yarl Poof is a personal favourite of mine, just due to them sketches that Robot Chicken did. And not only because of that, but how bizarre looking he is. Hence why he's on this list, and take note Hasbro, this is the third character that's cropped up on my list that's an alien. And we're only at number 12. Number 11, Genosian Warrior. Clones and Jedi need cannon fodder. While battle droids are great for that, it would be good to mix things up a little bit. Particularly if they could allow us to recreate that absolutely insane light show of a scene from Attack of the Clones. I am of course referring to the Genosian arena battle. Genosians come in different forms. There's some with wings, some without, some with different weapons. And if Hasbro could do what they did with the Hoth Rebel Soldier in 6-inch, and also take note from their Clone Wars 334-inch figure of the Genosian, you could easily make a figure that has interchangeable parts that gave fans and collectors the ability to not only army build, but customise their army to have varied ranks. Bonus points as well if they packed a Genosian in with the speeder bike so that you could mount that onto it, or if you so chose, Count Dooku. That would be pretty damn awesome. At number 10, Aura Singh. The lethal bounty hunter and Jedi killer had a brief cameo appearance in The Phantom Menace, however has become a fan favourite through the additional stories and comics that she's appeared in. If they did base the figure as she appears in The Phantom Menace, while it would be slightly cheating my list to include some expanded universe accessories in there, it's a little bonus, would be a nice touch. And if they made her, she'd accompany the soon to be revealed and released Cad Bane extremely well. But not only that, it would give collectors and fans the ability to reenact their headcanon as to how Tobias Beckett pushed her and killed her. At number 9, Newt Gunray.
She can't do that! Shoot her or something!
This one's going to be a hard sell, but hear me out. The Viceroy of the Trade Federation, there are plenty of CIS, Confederacy of Independent Systems, if you didn't know, members that you could and should make. Watambor, I am looking at you and I'm sorry you're not in this list. Newt Gunray is one of the prominent figureheads, given that he appeared in every prequel film. He was the one that started the whole blockade on the boo business. And to me at least, I feel like similarly to Zabulba, they should make first before they do any of the others. At number 8, Sam Wessel.
Jedi business, go back to your drinks.
We have Jango Fett. We are sorely missing his changeling accomplice, Sam Wessel, who I really think has an interesting costume design. It's incredibly vibrant and is a figure that actually has some really fun accessories that you could pack in with her. Interchangeable heads, different blasters, even maybe, if you were going to be cheeky, include the service courier droid that she uses. That would be pretty awesome. I've put her higher up in this list above Aura Singh just because she does play more of a prominent part in the film that she's in. She actually does stuff, unlike Aura Singh, who is just literally kind of like a background character. At number 7, Ayla Secura. We have Commander Blight, so again, it's a figure that makes sense to be made. We've predominantly had male Jedi, and I think a notion of balance needs to be brought to the table, of which I'm sure some neckbeards will probably disagree with me. What you can't disagree with me though is we need more Jedi to create a Genosian arena battle, and we can play with a big army of Jedi and clone trooper figures and Genosians and battle droids, and it will be awesome. It will be a big light show, which is what we want, and we need more Jedi. Please Hasbro, make more Jedi. At number 6, Shaak Ti. All these points for this one are literally the same as Ayla Secura, so I'll keep it short. Kamino Clone Trooper is out this year. We need more female Jedi. Arena battle figures, please. At number 5, Droideka. This would be a big figgy, but it can be done as we've seen with the probe droid that was released this year. Although granted, I do think the droided arm might be slightly bigger. Depends if they decide to pack in like the force field, but I'm sure they could pack it into a box the same sort of size as the probe droid somehow. More so, I'd love to see Hasbro tackle this one because the design of it is so unique and would be a real challenge that if they pulled it off right, it would be pretty damn awesome. Particularly if they gave you the ability to fold it up in the ball. You wouldn't really need to do any accessories for it. It would be nice if they did include some little blaster effects for the little barrels of the guns. That would be pretty sweet, but even then, you don't have to do that. Just nice to get that figure. At number 4, Super Battle Droid. More droids, more cannon fodder, more things for a big Genosian arena battle. As I've said, clones are always an obvious choice, but what's the point in having loads and loads of clones if you ain't got nothing to fight them with? And like clones, this figure would be perfect for repaints and recolours. Bonus points if they include an interchangeable arm to make it a super heavy assault battle droid. And I mean, they could always release that one at a later date if they so choose. Once more, what would be cool is if they included the flame effect to layer over the figure, kind of like they did in the 30th anniversary collection with the R2-D2 and the battle droid that you could buy separately, but you combine them together. You can stick the R2 on top of that. And I'm pretty sure the Black Series R2 comes with the thrusters out, but with no flame effects. Hasbro, are you thinking of doing that? You're thinking of doing that? You should do it. Do it. Great idea. At number 3, young Boba Fett. Yep. You can hold your keyboard fire, because I saw you about to go, shut up Boba Fett before you do some result. I mean, I don't really have much to say about this one, admittedly, but it's kind of an obvious choice and obvious thing that needs to be made, given that we've got Jango Fett. Father and son need to be reunited. That is if I had the father to begin with, because I still need to get that figure. At number 2, Magna Guard. Crush them! Make them suffer! If Hasbro made this and made it well, and by well I mean include it with a whole bunch of accessories similar to the 334-inch vintage collection release of it, whereby including interchangeable parts such as the head wrapping, cloak, blaster, Magna Guard staff, I would easily sign myself up to buy 2 at the very least, or maybe 4 of these. If the customization was there, I'd be all over them, because I love Magna Guards. They're such an interesting, unique design. And if they include like interchangeable heads, because all of them have different heads, some of them have like cracked eyes and stuff, I'd love that. They would escort General Grievous super well on a shelf. At number 1, young Anakin Skywalker.
It's working!
It's the very last version in terms of film appearance of Anakin that needs to be made. I'm very doubtful we'll ever get a Return of the Jedi original cut Force Ghost Anakin with the Sebastian Shaw look, so shut up. Given that this figure would be of a smaller size, you could include it with a variety of accessories. I think predominantly helmets. He has the Pod Racer pilot and Naboo Starfighter pilot helmet. You could also include the backpack as well. It's not a super duper exciting figure to maybe make, but it is one that we do sort of need, particularly as we already have Qui-Gon, we now have Obi-Wan, Darth Maul as well, besides Jar Jar Binks, who we already know is somewhat coming in the line, given that he's been effectively leaked. Young Anakin seems like the obvious choice. Furthermore, if Hasbro really wanted to, they could do a deluxe pack where you get the young Anakin, maybe Watto as well, that'll be sweet to see. Or even the unbuilt C-3PO with all his parts showing. That would be really wizard. Ultimately, I think we need a representation of the optimistic Anakin before his turn to the dark side. So that's my top 15 Star Wars The Black Series prequel characters that I think should be made. Admittedly, it was incredibly hard to narrow down, but these were the ones that I think Hasbro should really attempt to do first. Or at least some of these. Don't rush out and do them all in one go just yet, Hasbro, because you've really thrown the pre-orders on us quite heavily. But more importantly, I'm interested in your guys' thoughts, so please do leave your comments in the comments below, and if you really want to, feel free to make a video response. Make me aware of it in the comments below as well. And this is me, Daniel East 1000, signing out, and thank you very much for watching.